Hello, welcome back to the Funk Treatise 5th edition readings. Today we're going to have pages 171 through 180, and those are going to be read by Cowan Jenkins. So let's get started without further ado.
Starting
Before that, once again, thank you, Cowan, for your readings and sharing your thoughts.
from the top of page 171. Even though it has been erased, it existed, and out of action and reaction, cause and effect, I'm typing this now. If I hadn't lost it, we'd be spread in a different timeline of different events. In the immense amount of time spreading out across existence, it has all had and hasn't happened, and everything connected to it, and is expanding from all of it. Control S saves you stress. Save, save, save. You will see that word now more and more by probable chance and observation of proofs, or by now. All of that is both selfish and then selfless, then beyond and loop. Here I am posting the next resulting moment in the pattern of those events.
Now, I would also say that these terms save, 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 and by now, at this point, have definitely been, what's the word that I'm looking for? More disguised, in ways that don't exactly say these things, but the message is there in a more manipulative way to coerce you into buying now or saving money or other things.
Lost but not forgotten. But now able to forever be located again and in every form of further proof by observing and reaching deeper into these patterns and loops together at a closer and faster and subjectively better way to relate all of this thread with the potential, but for now hypothetical next evolution of how you smell this information. I could fart or pass gas, and now we know it to be a significant event because we, the entire universe and the funk, also existed as a part of it somehow. But how we together react to my then performance of what we thought and think fart to be, and how you think and thought farted, when you are more aware of that common loop, you can understand it more instantaneously.
That is a silly example. If you want something more serious, you can replace fart with generally anything.
You can choose to now, with that experience of fart, individually or together from that point, form a further and deeper instinct, relation, and understanding of that point itself and beyond. If I am mistaken after this explanation of variables, comment below with or without a heart, depending on if you are me or choosing not to be me and then just acting as a past me and or future you or present us. Heart me again. Hello, heart. I see that you are heart, so that I can now heart you back more easily, and you and I from these events.
That was to responding to the person who said hearts are equal to love, and I love you. Yeah, I love you because we're all the same. Good job. That's what they said.
We are now together connected and located across the funk at this exact point in time and beyond. Heart, 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 as the mass effect to interstellar and all those forms and current and future understandings across time. I see you get it now, after my 29 years of experiencing and understanding it, and your whenever and however and why ever and whatever and whoever and beyond and back again. We did it and are doing it, and knowingly it will always be. Hyper-realistic virtual reality and further control and understanding of. You and I can access the funk in some way and not be each other, while also metaphysically being each other. And so we are therefore an expansion of and also a separation of basic universal information and evolution. Proof of the funk.
I think that kind of explains itself, but in case you didn't understand that, last part, essentially, we are not each other, right? You and I are separate beings, but we are all together this one metaphysical funk. And so we're just this expansion of that funk. And the funk is further expansion of just more funk.
Some quote thread from
This is also in response to, it's just continuing that response.
forum. How would you explain RAM to me or someone or something else? Next, attempt to transcribe that data both now and after the data beyond it, while being hypothetically unable to access the past at all. The loop stops and begins again at that point of no access until all of the funk comes around. It comes back again to the event of it again.
How do I kind of explain that? So like random access memory, right? RAM, RAM. Basically, it's like the temporary storage in an operating system. Um, and so like just temporary memory, not like the full memory, which would be is something else. RAM, but full memory. Whatever. You can look that up later. But essentially, like, if you were trying to explain that concept to someone, like just temporary memory storage, um, and then try to transcribe that data of explaining that to someone, and then the data behind why that is, while also hypothetically unable to even access the past. Like, let's say you don't have a computer in front of you, you can't explain what RAM is and stuff. And so you go from that moment then with, even though you have this somewhat history of RAM and you're trying to explain it, but you don't have the exact answer to it, uh, it'll continue onto itself until it loops back around to you being able to explain it, unless you don't, right? Unless you like move into a different direction, or you just forget about explaining it and you don't want to, or if even the person that you're trying to explain it to eventually reaches that understanding somewhere else somehow.
Another comment.
This is in response to the list of songs that were in the Parability playlist.
It's a pretty decent playlist. Nice. Thank you. It was again, and I'm proposing. The funk had to have been providing that this and these instants in every possible digit, variation, scenario, and beyond. 11,000 tracks built up across my 29 years, and of all time before it and of now also after. Is that not what we have been attempting to resonate towards by applying yes and? I'm both choosing connection and, well, unavoidably not, the proof of just of this in this current dissertation and dissection of, but spoken about by many others in a different ways across time. And again, if you would like me now to see the full saved document of this journey, please email me at whothefunkband.com and I'll funk it your way, or you'll be able to somehow lead yourself to the eventual public access of knowledge. So here it is. That point is here. All of your concerns and beliefs about them are indeed some form of the now deeper understood funk connecting us in every possible way.
Again, just as we've been conceptually talking about throughout this entire treatise, everything builds and expands, and then we can, even if we lose all that information, we can then start from that point and repeat the process in a different way. And that's kind of what a lot of philosophers and philosophy and science and just any concept or idea basically does over time. It expands, and we all expand with it and everything, whether human or not, and then the process kind of seemingly repeats.
I, in the present or past statement, then went on YouTube and now post-edit of the future past present, point out that this act of doing has ended here and also continues here.
So, at this point in time of that day, I went onto YouTube, and then I point out that I just point that out. And so then you're going to hear me start talking about that.
On my computer, I have typed all this information into the existence you are seeing now. And from all this information and creation of data, then I went to YouTube, or as you can do in our time, and the ad that played for me was titled, Is Denmark Socialist? PragerU, which I have never seen or heard of, but I did know about the formations of these ideas of socialism from America to Denmark and now everywhere else. The ad is, in a way, as it is proposing back to me, a proposal in an attempt to influence us. Now the ad is ending as I finish typing this sentence. It ended exactly as I finished this sentence. PragerU was eventually outed as a...
This was a side edit from May 13th, 2024.
controversial conservative platform. In hindsight, this is right before the election year, and these ads were popping up a lot. To be determined on how this year goes.
So I don't know if PragerU is still around, but on the how that year went, Trump was elected.
After the ad, the video,
as you already know now,
I accidentally clicked on is a YouTube video. A YouTuber named PewDiePie connecting about exactly what I've been discussing to happen within the funk. Influencing. He's describing, don't do this. It doesn't work.
And I had never watched a PewDiePie video before this. Again, I accidentally clicked on the video and it just started, and I was like, okay, maybe there's some purpose to this. I'll watch it.
And now the video is titled YouTube is Stinky, although with all the times we found out these stinky things do work and have since seen and experienced the evolution of these methods.
So the video, if I recall correctly, is about like how people were editing their videos in certain ways that like he was calling them out and being like, don't do this, it doesn't work. But a lot of videos are now exactly in that format. And so I guess it worked.
But it has influenced his 4,693,209 current views on the video across 102 million subscribers with, and so on and so forth, have already and simultaneously doing what he's describing. PewDiePie just indirectly connected us, and the beginning and end of his loop, and now the beginning of a newer R loop. Who is to say PewDiePie's greater influence towards the event wasn't our temporary higher power, and we aren't reflecting back from it?
And what I mean by that is just like, not PewDiePie being a higher power in idolatry. I mean like any moment that causes us this influence, or even someone who does cause this immaculate influence, kind of becomes this higher power of influence. Because, just as I said, he has 102 million subscribers. That video at the time had 4 million, almost 5 million views. I think it has even more now. I think I can comment that later. But that's how much influence that one video had. And so there was probably this great malleable recognition towards that moment and towards it somehow finding its way into here. And yes, again, coincidence. But, here we are from that.
Keeps saying he doesn't care, yet he continues to care, and we are able to observe that and pass it back to each other and ourselves.
And that is the irony of it. I remember throughout the entire video, he's like, I don't care, but he's there caring.
Why doesn't the heart tire? A physical heart may tire with age unless the future changes that, but the idea, image, being, spirit, and extension of the heart are forever.
As a semiotic.
Because you, I, and the funk have now reached this point of it all, that the influence of randomness and events of a random number generation now has everyone and everything after us adding to that larger number. Am I or you a collection of now conscious and aware advertisement for PewDiePie, directly and indirectly having been influenced by his existence, and that influence being a part of our being and makeup of our reality?
And so here I am, again, kind of as we discussed with Bandcamp earlier in the treatise. Now I'm advertising PewDiePie indirectly. I'm not like saying you should go watch him, but like here I am talking about him, right? And so now you are aware, whether you weren't already or if you were, but now we're just increasing his influence.
And make of our reality. The larger the progressive calculation and accessible data applying itself through enough time, calculus, and data, the higher the statistical probability of it happening again and again forever, as well as eventually also not until it does and then doesn't again. Like all the weird and unexplainable things you've said, I don't, can't, or won't care about, but now are providing to, expanding from, and are a part of when I refresh the page of information that my number of views is now 4,702,200. Edits, and again, up to 7 million in May, 8.4 million.
Let's see, what is that now? I hate that I'm going to have to search this because then it's going to change my algorithms and make me going to think that I want to watch PewDiePie videos. Okay.
Burned out and dejected.
At this point in time, oh, yep, it's still only at, where were we? Scrolled up. It's still only at 8.4 million because, I mean, this was 5 years ago.
Once I had the thought when I was younger about what if the Mona Lisa or other famous works of art had the number of their view counts available right next to them. As you can see at this point in time with evolving technology, information, and accessibility, it in some form or way can possibly present that information from this point. It can be calculated and predicted and acted upon, as we have been attempting to do across the funk again and again up until this point.
And I had that thought before views were even a thing. Like, before you even got, like, view counts on the internet and stuff. Like, just imagine, like, if you could go to a place, again, using the Mona Lisa as an example, if you could see how many times someone looked at the Mona Lisa. Now, we don't have that exactly towards paintings, but we have that basically on everything on the internet.
It has been said that with enough time and chance, a group of apes in a room with a typewriter can eventually create the complete works of William Shakespeare. Similarly, here we are having expanded from the same idea of patterns of intelligent chance in this proposal and observational proof. Loop. Heart times 2 for 1 for this post and the last that was cut off by the current allowed space of digits, but we are still seemingly doing this just eventually. We'll keep saying no, no, no until there is one yes, then 2 yeses, and then maybe green. Now you are further understanding proper abstract application at this current moment based off the past segment across all of time. And all the funk from there.
I'd say you're probably further understanding. You don't... Oh, no, I did say that. You were further understanding.
Here have another, not tired yet, but one day will be for all of us. Rest and tiredness are illusions composed of the same source and are hand in hand the same element, but with different results from exposure to itself via cause and effect. Season 4, Episode 3 of the IT Crowd plays before me as I eat dinner, and is so relatable as both humorous fact and fiction, and also humorous that the series of events stretched across life has predicted and directed me to witness it and relay it back again to you. And whether you watch it or not, it has influenced you through me.
Now, I can't remember exactly what the episode's about, but I remember it relating to something that made me want to share it. IT Crowd 4 Episode 3. I don't know how this relates to it. I'm going to have to rewatch the episode and see if that still holds up. But apparently episode 4 does the same thing. So I'll check those out, see if they still hold and why I put them in there. At the moment, really, I'm not sure. Again, I just remember them having something that made me want to put them in here.
Episode 4 is again also observationally proving these functional patterns. A YouTube channel I stumbled across with a friend is this channel called Down the Rabbit Hole by Frederick Knudsen. And a few hours later he posted this video. If I apply my theory, Per Cat Cafe was manifested by idea, then became a group, and then had to become a fallacy and fell apart, here's that following data. Continuing after these events of these patterns and personal experiences, and you and I aren't now as well. The idea of transparency comes to mind. The idea from George Orwell's 1984 of Big Brother always watching and the eventual potential loops of all information, and how it is clear like a window or screen with one viewing into or through it. Funk projecting and reviewing every hologram of holographic time and space within our panopticonic reality. Panopticonic reality.
Again, the panopticon being a designed thing in its original proposed thing, a jail where there's a center mass where there may or may not be the officer watching, but they can see everywhere, every jail cell, no matter where it is in the jail. It can be seen from this. And so the idea is that you are always being watched, whether you really are or not. But within funk, it's kind of the same thing. Like, we are all being watched by reality, but at the moment in some form of secrecy. Like, when I turn my camera off, you're not going to be able to watch me, but who's to say that in 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years, you're not able to, you might be able to do that. You might be able to see all the things that I was doing in my own time.
When you turn off your phone or computer, you're able to see your reflection in the black mirror. If you choose to not look at your reflection within, you can look away or close your eyes or turn the phone or the computer back on again and distract the reflection. But what if you were able to manage a state of the in-between where we are able to close our eyes and still see using some form of technology or power of the mind, and be able to further evolve from the astronomical influential moments which have already happened and have not? An advanced version of Funk GPS will naturally tell us where to eventually go with the other influential influences that everything has upon it while it continues learning how to use itself. I propose we are passing through / have passed through that point, and you can read my thoughts eventually through these already established loops I am able to tell you now, and those thoughts will appear as your own. And here we are looking back and re-observing this moment, and again continuing to expand upon the quantum events of funk influence through interconnected links of social, universal, and individual carnivoral moments. And it keeps expanding, and it keeps expanding.
Caravanium.
Omission, the action or state of sending or transferring good, positive vibes, love, energy, influence, etc. The inverse being non-emitting, non-emission. And the transfusion / transformation between the spectrum of states can be flux / fluxing within the collective quemission-quemitted flow of the carnivoral funk. Consider two sides of the coin. One side results with the omission and the other with the non-emission. The coin itself, when flipped or not, is quemitted. The observed results within and without a greater quemission of funk carnivorally.
And by this point, I would assume that y'all all already understand what we mission, omission, and key mission is, and Caravania.
2 years ago, I did a single card tarot reading about my relationship with my ex.
This is not in the original 4chan post. This was something that I saw and just responded to, and then I guess decided to put it here in the treatise.
Who I was with at the time. I was abused a lot, but didn't fully realize it until the end. I was very, very confused and hurt all the time, but put up with it. Young and naive and in love, you know how it goes. The card I pulled when asked what represents the relationship was the devil. Abuse, uneven power dynamics, and being unaware of mistreatment due to desire to please. I immediately panicked and hoped to never touch tarot again. This isn't right, it's wrong, it can't be right. Well, it was right, and I'm a fool. I should have heeded this warning because my ex tried making me do tons of drugs against my will, raped me post-breakup, and lied to everything in my life, threatened to kill me, etc. Was this just a coincidence, or is tarot truly that powerful? Some people say just a coincidence. It was the devil. No such thing, just a way of remaining anonymous. I propose in my theory, or what I've been tested to, coined the funk, which currently is proving every variation of that data into hyperreality of itself. It is both coincidence and also not. That was the card about the state of quantum reality dealt you, as it had also dealt every other outcome in some other quantum state, where another form of you is in its place. But here we are on our quantum path as a result of the card you pulled, and which led you to typing what you just did for me and to respond to a document. What are the chances of these two more events happening, and what is the clear and unmistakably transparent and correct or incorrect answer? To us in these moments of coincidence provided by the life or the funk, the resolution is not yet great enough, or we don't have access to the higher definition of our perception of the moment. Though it is still not clear enough, it must experience that moment in order to learn further information on how to connect through the past, present, future, and beyond, as clear as air or even as foggy as air, as each side understands and applies that information to each other. forever trying to outwit and outbalance each other until there is the resulting natural balance, and then what is to be true and what was once false becomes false again, and then true, and then suddenly influences the creation of becoming of anything. For instance, like Harry Potter, or Jesus, or Allah, or Buddha, or some other major recognizable character or historical object, whether it be in a thought, novel, movie, or reality. The past and present forever constantly influencing itself with the knowledge from the oncoming future experience happening at every available moment and beyond.
1 second. Sorry. I'll be right back. Thank you for your patience. Thankfully, this is going to be a short video today. Cowan is reading this very quickly, and really there's not a lot to be read since it's just for shitpost. This is probably going to be the longest part right here. But I think that he is almost done, really. Yeah, he's only got a couple more pages. Let us continue.
Branching from my curiosity of Alejandro Jodorowsky, I was eventually inspired enough to attempt my own hand at tarot. It's indeed a curious thing, whether you believe in it or not. From my own experience, I've had some very accurate readings, not only myself, but also some readings for friends, which indeed eerily manifested into reality.
So, the one time I did tarot for friends, like in person, because I would also at sometimes draw cards for work. Like I had a team and I would like draw a card for our day. But we went camping once and I brought a deck, and everyone who wanted their reading done, they were just eerily very accurate. And they had to ask their own questions and everything. And I also meditated on like what does this person need to hear at this time. And two of the people, it predicted that they were going to have shifts in their relationships and in work. And literally, like when we got back, one of them quit, and then the other one, no, they both ended up quitting. And I don't know if that inspired them to do that or if it was just meant to be. But one of the one who I talked to after that, she was like, I can't believe she still thinks that drawing had something to do with it. And I remember the entire time I was reading the card, she was just like, wow, like her jaw was just dropped. And she's like, how it was relating to her life and everything. And so it can be eerie to draw these cards. Again, Jodorowsky and Alejandro, they're the same person. Alejandro Jodorowsky really inspired me to finally pick up tarot. I'd always had like a small interest in it, but in the Holy Mountain, he really, is like, this is the thing. Like you should draw the tarot if you want to listen to what life has to say about your life. And so I finally went and got it, because you're supposed to be gifted a deck. That's like what the theory used to be, kind of like I used to hear that. But then I got online and I was asking people who did have tarot decks, and like, no, you can just go get your own cards. It's fine. It's not going to change anything. But let's see this.
When asked what I should share here with you now, to you, the reader, I drew Temperance, Strength, and the Emperor. I draw by asking the deck to allow the chosen cards to fall out of the deck while shuffling.
So at this time, on May 16th, 2024, I felt like drawing some cards that would relate to you now watching, or whoever's reading the treatise. And what I meditated on was like, I asked, what should I share with whoever's reading this or whoever's watching? And Temperance, Strength, and the Emperor are what came.
These are the definitions of those cards. Temperance is the card for bringing balance, patience, and moderation into your life. You are invited to stabilize your energy and to allow the life force to flow through you without force or resistance. It's time to recover your flow and get your life back into order and balance. This card asks you to remain calm even when life feels stressful or frantic. Maintain an even temperament and manage your emotions. You've learned to keep composed in stressful situations. Little things don't get to you, thanks to your seemingly abundant resource of patience. Your respect for balance and tranquility is what will help you achieve and experience fulfillment in your life. Temperance asks you to take the middle path and accommodate all perspectives. Now is not the time to be highly opinionated or controversial. Be the peacekeeper and take a balanced or moderate approach, avoiding any extremes, including others, and bring diverse groups of people to create harmony and cooperation. By working together, you will collectively leverage the right mix of talents, experiences, abilities, and skills. There is alchemy within temperance. This tarot card is about blending, mixing, and combining diverse elements in a way that creates something new and even more valuable than its separate parts. Blending can take on many forms. For example, a blended family. An artist who blends different materials or techniques, a bartender who mixes new and exciting cocktails, or a chef who combines different cuisines and cooking styles. The Temperance card shows that you have a clear, long-term vision of what you want to achieve. You are not rushing things along. Instead, you are taking your time to ensure that you do the best job you can. You know you need a moderate, guided approach to reach your goals. Finally, this card reflects higher learning. You are learning a great deal where you are now, and you are at peace with what you are doing. It's all coming together well. Your inner voice is guiding you to the right outcome, and you are patiently listening and following.
Now, you're more than welcome, as always, to make your own opinion on how well you fit, well you think that fits not only this the treatise and the theme of the treatise, but how it fits like your life right now or anything. But essentially, what that's describing is parability and kind of like the journey of just like taking time to write this treatise. Like, what was the one that basically there were a couple. The two that I see is you're not rushing things along. Instead, you are taking your time to ensure that you do the best job you can. You are learning a great deal where you are now and are at peace with what you're doing. It's all coming together well. And then being the peacekeeper and including others to bring together diverse groups of people to create harmony and cooperation. And so working together now, that's kind of all of what this treatise is attempting to do. And so that was a good card pool. And then next was strength.
The Strength card represents strength, determination, and power, like the Chariot. However, the Chariot signifies outer strength and will. The where am I? The Strength card speaks to the inner strength and human spirit's ability to overcome any obstacle. Strength is about knowing you can endure life's obstacles. You have great stamina and persistence, balanced with underlying patience and inner calm. You are committed to what you need to do, and you go about it in a way that shows your composure and maturity. When the Strength tarot card appears in a reading, you are fueled by inner strength, personal power, strong will, and determination. You do not rule by trying to control others. You quietly influence and persuade. Others may underestimate your power because it is invisible, but you should see that as an advantage. You can control a situation without excessive outward force. No one knows it's you calling the shots. Your strength gives you the confidence to overcome any growing fears, challenges, or doubts. Feel the fear and do it anyways. If you have been going through a rough time, you're burnt out and stressed, the Strength card encourages you to find the power within yourself to persevere. You have got what it takes to see the situation through to the eventual end. You're a loyal friend and a solid supporter, willing to step up and be present when others are in need. You might also feel compelled to hold space for someone who needs your strength and support. The Strength card encourages you to tame your animal instincts, gut reactions, and raw emotions, and channel those initial responses constructively. It's normal for feelings such as anger, rage, sadness, guilt, or shame to arise in certain situations. However, it's what you do with these emotions that makes all the difference. Now is a time when you need to be conscious of your instinctual urges and bring them into balance with the greater good. This is no time to act out in rage or hatred. Approach your situation from a place of forgiveness, love, and compassion. Working with a therapist also may help you create coping strategies for what comes up.
And again, I think strength applies to this treatise as well, very well. And then the last was the Emperor.
As the father figure of the tarot deck, the Emperor suggests that you are adopting this fatherly role, regardless of whether you're a male or female, providing for your family and protecting and defending your loved ones. You may be the breadwinner or the rock for those who rely on your stability and security. Similarly, the Emperor represents a powerful leader who demands respect and authority. Status, power, and recognition are essential to you. You are most comfortable in a leadership role where you can command and direct others. As a leader, you rule with a firm but fair hand. You have a clear vision of what you want to create, and you organize those around you to manifest your goal. You listen to the advice of others, but you prefer to have the final say. Conflict doesn't scare you, and you don't hesitate to use your power to protect those you care about. And in return, those people will repay you with the loyalty and respect you deserve. Claim your authority as a leader and influence, and don't let others put you down. The Emperor reflects a system bound by rules and regulations. You create law and order by applying principles or guidelines to a specific situation. Create calm out of chaos by breaking down any problem into its parts and then mapping out the actions you need to take to resolve it. Be systematic, strategic, and highly organized in your approach, and stick to your plan until the end. The Emperor card also signifies world knowledge and expertise. Through the course of your life, you've gained valuable wisdom and life experience, and now you enjoy offering guidance, advice, and direction to someone who might benefit from it. You may be a teacher, coach, boss, or just a good friend who likes to take what you've learned and pass it on to others so that it can be wise and powerful as you. These are the edits. I've read and understood.
And then it says interpret these as you will. And then it leaves an insert edit once again from Sunday, August 30, 2020, saying look back to page, that's on the 7th edition. On the 5th edition, it says look back to page 263, because 263 will also bring you to this page back here. So now what I'm going to do for you is a reading as well, and see what we get. And so I'm going to do a little silent meditation real quick. And you can even ask a question yourself. And it can't be a yes or no question. It kind of has to be open-ended. Like, what I'm going to be meditating on is what is something I should be telling you right now? What is something that whoever's watching this should know or be told? Or what's something that I need to share to them? Give a few shuffles. One more. All right. What should I tell my audience listening in the future? What do they need to hear? What do I need to share? Here we go. the Four of Pentacles. It was drawn sideways, and so I'm going to read both. But it was mostly up, so I'm going to say that it's going to be top facing. So the Four. Four of Pentacles. All right. So upright, it means saving money, security, conservatism, scarcity, control. And reversed, or upside down, it means overspending, greed, and self-protection. So interesting that it was drawn sideways. So the Four of Pentacles, which looks like this for my card, at least, shows a man sitting on a stool beyond the boundaries of his hometown. His arms are wrapped tightly around a coin, as he fears he may lose it if he loosens his grip. He balances another pentacle on his head, impeding his connection with the spirit, and two more sit securely under his feet. He clearly doesn't want anyone to take his coins. However, because he's so attached to his money, he can't move or go anywhere. He has no one to speak to, not even the friends and family members in the community behind him. The man finds himself stuck in one place without a singular fixation: wealth. And so maybe this isn't just to you exactly. Again, this is to the entire audience, the future audience of the treatise and information and stuff. And so I think this is kind of a call to pairability, but let's see more about what it says in the upright and reverse position. So the Four of Pentacles upright is the Four of Pentacles asks you to examine your relationship with money. Are you accumulating wealth and investing your money wisely while still enjoying your day-to-day life? Or are you desperately clinging to every coin, afraid to spend your money for fear that you do not have enough or could lose it forever? In its most positive state, the Four of Pentacles suggests that you have created wealth and abundance by maintaining a steady focus on your goals and acting conservatively. You are attentive to your long-term financial security, actively saving money and watching your expenses so you can accumulate wealth and live a comfortable lifestyle, not just now, but also in the future. You may consider a savings plan, family budget, a retirement plan, and safe investments so you can protect what you accumulated over time and slowly and steadily increase your net worth. However, the Four of Pentacles typically accompanies a scarcity mindset, especially with money and material possessions. Instead of spending your cash and enjoying a comfortable lifestyle, you are choosing to stockpile your finances for fear you might lose it all or someone else might take it away. Your budget may be so conservative or strict that it cuts out many of life's pleasures, including travel, social occasions, gifts, or fun activities. But for what purpose? Money works best when it can flow and exchange, not when it is being stashed away. Deep down, you may realize that you are foregoing happiness and fulfillment in your life because you do not want to spend any of your money and you sold out for an overly safe approach to life. If this resonates, find a healthy balance between spending and saving so you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, but also save up for the future. The Four of Pentacles can also suggest that you're placing too much value on money and material possessions. You may be attached to material things, allowing possessions to become your life. You assess your self-worth based on how much you earn, the car you drive, how expensive your home is, and where you take your holidays. But it's a catch-22 because as your standard of living increases, so too will the need to work hard to generate income to sustain this kind of lifestyle, leaving you with little time to enjoy your wealth. The broader lesson with the Four of Pentacles is to honor and respect money and wealth, but don't become so attached that you lose sight of what's most important to you: friends, family, happiness, and love. If you are struggling with finances, then the Four of Pentacles comes as wise advice to manage your money and resources more carefully so that you do not live beyond your means. Make sure you do not spend more than you earn and that you have a budget and savings plan in place so that you can reach your financial goals and live a secure and stable life. Beyond money and wealth, the Four of Pentacles appears when you are seeking out more control in your life. At work, you may be micromanaging or not letting others mess around with your area. In a relationship, you may be protective, even possessive, ensuring that no one else threatens what you built. On a personal level, you may have an inflexible attitude and resist change. You may even feel more inclined to hoard your possessions. After all, you already established a way of living that works for you. Change feels like a threat to your certainty, safety, and security in life. And any suggestion of doing things differently is therefore going to be met with resistance. So playing it safe may be the way to go rather than taking any risks at this point. And I think what that is directed to more is this treatise is kind of directed. The people who are going to read it are probably going to be people who already semi-understand it, right? The people who need to hear this information, the selfish people out there, that would be essentially, that is the appealing audience. Maybe not appeal. That's the audience that I'm hoping it reaches, right? I'm hoping these ideas reach them and attempt that interchange imperability. And I think this card is kind of speaking to them. But also, if it could also be speaking to you in a way. Maybe you are, maybe you are one of those people. And even if maybe you're not, but still, maybe that has some significance to you. But reversed, the reversed Four of Pentacles can appear when you are reevaluating what's important to you, especially when it comes to money and wealth. You may have placed too much value on material possessions and have now come to a realization that money and things won't make you happy. Only love will make you happy. As a result, you may be loosening your grip on the need to surround yourself with things in favor of seeking out more love and happiness in your life instead. You might be compelled to declutter your home or opt for a minimalist lifestyle. Money is no longer your number one priority, and you are redefining your relationship with material possessions and money. Now, this might be, again, it was drawn sideways, and so I think both of these can apply to really any of the audience listening to this. The Four of Pentacles reversed can indicate that money is slipping through your fingers, and your spending habits exceed your saving habits. You may be spending unconsciously, hoping it will bring happiness, but all it does is bring you more stress and anxiety as your bank balance declines. At times, the reverse Four of Pentacles can suggest that your love for money has turned to greed. You want more, but at what cost? In the quest to earn more money, you may be working longer hours, but neglecting your loved ones. Or, if you have your own business, you may be pushing sales harder to generate more profit, but at the expense of your customers' well-being. Look at the overall equation of cost versus benefit, and assess whether your quest for more is really bringing you the happiness that you most desire. Finally, the Four of Pentacles can appear in a tarot reading when you are in self-protection mode. You have a strong desire for security, stability, and certainty, and you are doing everything within your power to create a stable environment for yourself. Even when your outer world seems chaotic and in a constant state of change, you can create more certainty for yourself by controlling your inner environment. You might find tidying the house or organizing your things to be calming and relaxing under these circumstances. And so, thank you, deck. I will see you next time. All right. And so again, just as I said, interpret these as you will. Get in there. There we go. Thank you. All right. Back to the treatise. May 16th, 2024. As I've read and thought about these passages many times now.
Understand about these passages of times many times now while editing, and I understand how to others that, especially at the time of discussion, my words and phrasing could seem confusing, incomplete, or rambling. I was speaking like one who is along the path of grasping an idea and or understanding something. Jukulasping.
That's close. Jaculasping.
If you went to a class or activity and learned something broad and challenging, and then after you left it tried to explain the entire class activity's subject to someone or something else, you would likely have some difficulty. It would be very rare that you would instantly ready to teach the next class on that subject/activity. You can make an attempt, but you'd likely need assistance and more experience or understanding. As I mentioned before, my goal was to get these thoughts and ideas out so they could be questioned and challenged more by others and my future self. I wasn't yet ready to teach the class, but I was ready to discuss it, investigate, and learn more with others inside and outside the class/school. Sometimes when you're looking back on these attempts, it can appear foolish, embarrassing, awkward, or cringy. This is again why I asked you not to let any assumptions of my sanity influence person, being, character, race, religion, identity, etc. prevent you from acknowledging, considering, questioning, challenging these ideas and propositions/suggestions. All of this in the expanding process of growth, learning, and understanding. Okay, that is all 10 pages.
Sheesh, that's a record. All right, that is pages 171 through 180. I am going to continue that thought and just finish that. If these ideas were being presented to you by yourself or reality itself, what would you have to say? Not including, why is there another me? Or how is reality speaking to me like this? So if you've read this far, I commend you. Thank you for being able or attempting to digest this process of information. Deeper we go. And so just like I said here, and just like I've said many times before, like, my goal with all this information and how it kind of gets weird is because I had been going to the metaphorical class and learning these things. And then after the class, I wanted to talk more about it. Like, now that I've learned all these things and all these ideas are forming from what I've been learning, I wasn't ready to teach a full class, but I was ready to discuss it. And so when you attempt to do that, you're going to look a certain way, right? Because, like, again, using the example of math, let's say you take a calculus class and then you leave the class. You're not going to be able to just go and teach calculus to everybody. You might be able to slightly attempt to explain what you learned in that class, but there's further knowledge and attempt at expanding that knowledge. And that is what I am attempting to do here, and why I continue to go back and re-edit it, and why I'm having other people read it and give me peer review, and hopefully you yourself watching this give me some peer review as well, and share your thoughts. But for now, let's hear what Cowan had to say about his reading.
My thoughts on it are, it's kind of an interesting train of thought, rambling mess. Some interesting thoughts on how the universe is random chance, and maybe the multiverse stuff that everyone's obsessed with these days. And using like forum posts, like 4chan looking stuff, to discuss that. Obviously not the easiest thing to read. Definitely struggled with it a bit at times. And not having read any of the rest of this, I don't know if it's all the same stuff or not. If so, 180 pages of that is kind of insane, but had respect to you for doing that. So keep on funking.
Appreciate it. And thank you again, Cowan, for reading and sharing your thoughts. And that is basically it for this one. A shorter video than usual. And so I guess that's all that needs to be said now. So once again, thank you, Cowan, for reading and sharing your thoughts. Thank you, viewer, watcher, reader, whoever you are, whatever you are, for being here in this moment, expanding together. I love you. And in case I don't see you in the future, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. As always, the funk provides. Peace.